I'm Dr. Vikki Petersen coming to you from Root Cause Medical Clinic, and I wanted to talk to you today about 7 steps for protecting your brain. What's not important about how you feel or how your body works? I could say there's nothing more important than your brain, and then you could say, well, what if I couldn't move? You know what I mean? But I think we can all agree that if your brain is not functioning in a manner that you've been used to your whole life, if your memory was going, if you just couldn't bring thoughts to the surface the way they used to, if you couldn't multitask, if you saw somebody and you couldn't remember their name, this would be upsetting. So what we're finding, unfortunately, is more and more early stage dementia, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's in younger and younger individuals than we ever used to see before. Our brains are really a bit under siege, if you will. However, there's awfully good news to go along with that bad news. Now, when I was trained as a clinician, we were taught that you were born with a certain number of brain cells and that was it, and you hit the grand old age of 18 and the big decline started. Certainly a slow decline, but that's what we were taught. And it was a bit sobering that was all you got. But fortunately, that was incorrect, and we actually do regenerate new brain cells, or we can regenerate new brain cells throughout our lives. And we can also enhance the connectivity, in other words, the way those brain cells communicate. And so there's been some very good research on a factor that's called BDNF, which stands for brain-derived, meaning it's coming from the brain. Neurotrophic, trophic means growth, so neuro referring to the brain nervous system, so the growth of those brain cells. So BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And what has been determined is that there are things you can do to enhance your amount of BDNF. This is something you want to do. And what's probably most exciting is that an excellent way to increase it is something that's absolutely free, as Dr. Perlmutter likes to say when he talks about it. All you have to do is buy a pair of sneakers. So it's to get aerobic, and you want to get aerobic hopefully at least 4 to 6 times a week. The research says only 20 minutes. I would try to push it to 30 to 60 for other benefits of aerobic exercise, but you can go out, take a brisk walk, get aerobic, get your heart pumping, and this does wonderful things for your brain. So if you're not a great exercise person and you've kind of been putting it off, if protecting your brain excites you, then that might be the catalyst you need to get going. The next thing I wanted to mention, so I've got 7 different aspects of protecting your brain, is your microbiome. So these are the 100 trillion good bacteria found in the gut. If you follow me, you hear me talk about this a lot, because it's 10 times the number of cells that you have in your body, you have in your gut, and we've realized that the health of this microbiome is critical for preventing degenerative disease. It's also critical for maintaining the health of your brain. Not surprising. They did a study on rats where they basically annihilated the good bacteria in their guts, and they discovered their BDNF went down. And then when they recolonized and regained the good numbers of bacteria, the BDNF went back up. So a strong correlation with that. Number 3 is anti-inflammatories. Also makes sense that something that's protecting the brain would do less well if things were inflamed. There's nothing that does great under inflammation. Certainly all degenerative disease, and of course Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia is in a degenerative disease category. All degenerative disease is negatively affected by inflammation. So if you need to find out how inflamed the body is, there's certain tests we can do. Ditto for the health of your microbiome, by the way. And so there are things like turmeric and curcumin. Those are one and the same. The fatty acid DHA. There are things that you can do that are particularly good for the brain, particularly good for decreasing inflammation. And then there are the prebiotics and probiotics, and this is prebiotics are what you get from food, especially food that's high in fiber. vegetables, fruits, beans, and legumes fall into this category. And it's interesting because we talk a lot about that as well, and how these high fiber foods are so healthy for you. They're also healthy for your brain. They increase your level of BDNF. So it's not very complicated. It's not very esoteric. It's certainly, there are no drugs involved, but these are simple things that if you're on a whole food plant-based diet, you're getting your exercise, you'll have a healthy microbiome, you won't be inflamed. They really, even though it's 7 different things I'm talking about, it kind of can all come together if you're following a healthy program. Number 4 is interesting, and this is coffee fruit concentrate. So if you are out in the jungle and you see a coffee berry, they kind of look like cherries. So if you just had a red cherry and you bit into it, there's a pit on the inside. Well, the coffee fruit is similar. The pit is the bean. So that's the pit of a normal cherry is akin to the bean of the coffee cherry, and that's the bean is, of course, what we make coffee that we drink out of. But the fruit itself is not something we've really ever looked into particularly, except recent research shows it's very high in BDNF. It recently came to market where they powderized the fruit. I've been enjoying it for a couple of months now. It tastes kind of like just dilute coffee, honestly. I can't drink coffee because I'm very sensitive to caffeine, but the fruit itself has almost no caffeine. So this is something you could put in a hot beverage. I throw it in my smoothie, or I just put it in my water bottle, but it really increases your BDNF. So very, very good for you. Sunlight is another thing. So getting out in the sun, also great for vitamin D, also increases the BDNF. And lastly, hormonal balance. So especially, I shouldn't say especially women, but we certainly see it more so in women, and that is women who are perimenopausal, menopausal. They're really getting a very sharp decline of their sex hormones that can absolutely affect memory and brain function. So with everything else I said, you definitely want to make sure you have nice hormonal balance to kind of round it out and get a really good help for the brain. And men can certainly have decreased testosterone levels as well. So I know that was a number of different items, 7 in total, but they really do synergize and work well together. If you need help, that's what I'm here for. You can reach out. We can help you get on a program that would enhance brain function. We tailor the programs to the individuals in front of us. Why is it that you're having these symptoms? Pretty much every day here at the clinic, I meet somebody who, and they can be in their 30s, is having trouble with brain function. My memory's not as sharp. I'm suffering from brain fog, various permutations of that complaint, and it can really be starting young. There's a lot of toxins in our environment. There's a lot of things that can be putting strain on our ability for our brain and nervous system to function the way it should. So these general 7 steps are important. Then we can tailor for you exactly what needs to be done, so you don't have to worry about dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, even if it's in your family. And that's exciting. Even if you have a genetic propensity, you don't absolutely have to go there. So I hope this was exciting to hear. I thought it was really good news how much ability we had to enhance brain function. I'd love to hear back from you, your comments, other topics you'd like to hear me talk about. Here at the clinic, at Root Cause Medical Clinic, we help the world's busiest people regain, retain, and reclaim their health, energy, and resilience. I'd love to help you. Reach out for a free consultation. Just give us a call. The number here is 408-733-0400. Please share this with others, like it, and let me know what you want to hear about next. I'll see you soon.